Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, September 4, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at what US National Hurricane Center is showing for their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can still see that we have those two areas of possible tropical development across the main development region, and we can also see that we have a brand new one right there across the northeastern portion of North Atlantic. And we know that the one that we're most focused on at this time is the one with the most chance of development, up to 100% chance of formation into a tropical depression within the next 7 days. However, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be heading towards the Caribbean at all. It's starting to, have more consensus in lifting to the north of the Caribbean basin. If we actually take a look at the forecast by the Euro model for 7 a.m. on a Monday, this is 12Z, which is actually 7 a.m. on Monday, we still see it right there, maybe as a strong hurricane to the north of Puerto Rico, to the north of the US and British Virgin Islands, and we see the consensus on the GFS model now, basically the same position at the same time. So we don't see that it's making its way into the Caribbean at all. It actually moves through to the northwest across the main development region. Maybe just a few isolated showers across portions of the Leeward Islands. That's as most as it will go. But as it relates to some serious impacts, it's definitely going to be a fish storm. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that tropical wave that affected portions of Jamaica today, eastern parishes, northern parishes, western parishes, just as predicted. And we can also see a stalled out cold front right there across the northern Greater Antilles that stretches all the way up into the northern sections of the North Atlantic. We can also see the L associated with that strong tropical wave that's supposed to develop according to the US National Hurricane Center. If we take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave that brought some amount of showers and thunderstorms to sections of Hispaniola and Jamaica for today. And we can also see that tropical wave across the central portion of the main development region that's getting itself together. If we take a look at what was predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Monday, it was stated that we would have had some amount of morning rainfall across sections of some eastern parishes in Jamaica, then affecting portions of some northern and western parishes during the afternoon. We know eastern parishes, we're talking about St. Andrew, Kingston, Portland, St. Thomas, those basically the parishes in the county of Surrey. While northern parishes, we know we're talking about Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and as usual the western parishes, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover as well. And what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page, Facebook page, Instagram page, TikTok pages, highlighting the conviction that we received this afternoon. And it was basically a cross section of some eastern, northern, and western parishes in Jamaica, just as predicted. The very areas that we stated would have received rain, that's where the rainfall was located for today. Alright. And if we even check on our Instagram page, we can confirm the rainfall that we had today. We had a comment from Tanya stating, I don't even know what to call what we had in Barbican Concrete Jungle. The way the place hot, by the time the little drizzle pass, the ground suck it up and the heat is back in full force. Joanne Matalan stating, had a nice little shower in Manor Park. Then It's Me Doggy stating, little rain just drop a Portmore but straight back to the hot sub. So definitely we indeed had some amount of rainfall across the area for today. Not much as what some persons would have liked, but at least it is a little something, a little break from all of the sunshine that we've been getting. and we can see it even better on the visible satellite images for today. We had more of a southeasterly flow for the clouds across the island for today, so we had that isolated shower and thunderstorm even up to the recording or up to when the sun went down. We were still having some amount of isolated showers across sections of some eastern parishes, but we saw that for the most part majority of the thunderstorms were located across sections of some northern and western parishes in Jamaica, just as predicted. So St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, and St. Mary definitely got in on some of that. And we see it even better on the infrared satellite images. Let's reload these images so that we have the latest right now to see what's happening. So definitely we saw that blow up of convection, and we're still having some amount of thunderstorms across sections of some western parishes as we speak right now. So sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, and even St. James are getting in on some amount of late afternoon thunder showers at this time. And we can even see it better on the Doppler radar images. We know the Doppler radar images represent the amount of rainfall that's happening right now. So we see the greens, we see the yellows that represent moderate to heavy rainfall, especially across sections of some western parishes, as well as offshore to the east of Jamaica right there. If we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can actually see the rainfall and where we had it today. So sections of eastern Jamaica and northern Jamaica, just as predicted. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. As it relates to the temperatures for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing some amount of yellows, some slight oranges that represent 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of September are about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32, maybe even 33 degrees Celsius for tomorrow at most. As it relates to the dry air map, we can see that the driest air is off to the eastern and almost the eastern portion of the central Caribbean right there, as well as the eastern Caribbean. Not so much across section of Jamaica at this time. Lots of moist air across the region associated with that tropical wave. However, if we switch over to the Saharan dust map, we can see that we definitely have some amount of slight Saharan dust, some slight hazy weather stretching all the way from Africa into the Caribbean, but we don't see that very dark color of Saharan dust that indicate, hazy skies that might have, triggered some asthma, sinusitis issues. We're getting more of the low end kind of Saharan dust at this time, and we're indeed grateful for that. As relates to the wave forecast, this is actually on a Tuesday. We can see that the lightest colors are right there across western Jamaica that indicate 0.5 meter wave heights or less, while we have the darkest colors, the darker blues, across eastern Jamaica that represent 1.5 meter wave heights, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS smalls. And that's due to the fact that the strongest winds will be coming in from the east, affecting more so across eastern Jamaica, averaging up to 20 knots, while we can see that the air is going to be piling up across sections of some central and western parishes wherever we see the blues. That's where we're going to have those cumulus clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds when we have that daytime heating convection, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS smalls. And where we see that the Euro model is showing more in the way of some southwesterly kind of shear for 1 p.m. on Tuesday. The GFS is showing more in the way of some kind of west-northwesterly shear. Either way, we definitely have some amount of rainfall to receive across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica, maybe even some eastern parishes late tonight, and definitely some northern parishes. Taking a look at the rain forecast, we can see that we have rainfall for the Euro model across sections of some eastern, central, and western Jamaica. But look at the GFS model. GFS is a bit different, showing more in the way of what we received today. So sections of some eastern, northern, and western parishes in Jamaica. That's what the GFS is showing. And we're more inclined to believe what the GFS is showing. Sometimes the Euro model blows it out of proportion, showing lots of blues across the entirety of the island. But when it's sectionalized like this one, like what the GFS is showing, it makes more sense considering where the winds are going to be coming in from. So definitely More rain in store for sections of some eastern, northern, and western parishes in Jamaica. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, this map is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. And we see that the most rainfall is right there, 0.55 of an inch of rainfall across sections of some south central parishes in Jamaica. The GFS model is actually, let me see if I can find the GFS model. This isn't the GFS. Okay, here's the GFS right here. So the GFS model showing more of that rainfall across sections of some western parishes, even up to an inch or more of rainfall across sections of some western parishes. Maybe St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland right there is indicated by the red. Maybe some isolated flash flooding could indeed take place. But we do see that rainfall across sections of some eastern parishes as well. So we're definitely in for some amount of rainfall for tomorrow. And we're indeed grateful for that rainfall that we're going to be receiving. We're now in the month of September. We're in our primary rainy season. Hopefully we get enough rainfall to put some kind of a dent in the drought that we're currently experiencing. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we don't see much activity occurring across sections of Guyana, French Guiana or Suriname, not to mention Venezuela or the Eastern Caribbean for that matter. Most of the activities across sections of Colombia, sections of Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, sections of Hispaniola, Cuba right there. And if we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we can see where we indeed had that rainfall still across sections of Dominican Republic, across sections of southern Puerto Rico, not so much across the Leeward Islands at all. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see some amount of rainfall passing to the far south of Barbados, lots of scattered showers across the region, even some amount of rainfall to the north and the east of Barbados. They might get on some amount of rainfall later on tonight into tomorrow. Definitely some rainfall passing through the Grenadine Islands, Grenada, Tobago right now. Definitely some more rainfall in store for them late tonight into tomorrow. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some amount of rainfall right there across sections of eastern Nicaragua, Honduras, sections of Mexico, Guatemala, and we can also see that rainfall that we mentioned across Cuba. Alright, so let us take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. We can see this map is showing 18th on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and we see much of the same as what the GFS is showing. Above normal temperatures averaging up to 2 degrees Celsius above average across the entire Caribbean basin. Still having that Saharan dust in place across portions of the Caribbean, not so robust. We don't see those dark shades of brown. So 2 p.m. on Tuesday shows some slight Saharan dust, but it is not going to be that noticeable. As relates to the wave forecast, we can still see that we're going to be receiving up to at least 1.5 meter wave heights across majority of the Caribbean, and that's due to the fact that we're going to be receiving more of 20 knot winds, with the highest winds right there to the north of Venezuela and the Colombia border right there, as indicated by those yellows that represent 25 knot winds, and the winds will be coming in from the east around that high pressure ridge. As it relates to the rain forecast, we can see lots of rainfall in store for sections of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Cuba, Hispaniola, Jamaica. Not so much rainfall in store for the areas around Puerto Rico, the Leeward Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin. Most of that rainfall seems more isolated across sections of Guadeloupe and the areas to the south of St. Vincent. So sections of St. Vincent, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Grenadine Islands, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Not so much rainfall in store for Venezuela, French Guiana, Suriname or Guyana. But we do see that rainfall in store for sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras and Guatemala, not to mention even sections of Belize. And we see that we have the consensus on the GFS model as well. I know that when we have consensus like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.